Hopefully nobody phones during this time. I've got my, anyway, sound down. Okay, excellent. Hello, everybody. I am here in a room with at least one other person in the Zoom, and I am smiling because I got to go do performances in the city with a company from Scotland, which was so fucking fun. And just being able to be a person in the world and to dance on a stage and do all that stuff is so wonderful. So that's what I'm thinking about. There's two things I'm thinking about. One is like how supportive our spine is, and the other thing is gratitude, like deep, deep gratitude. And part of this also, like when I think about deep, deep gratitude, it's got to go right into my nervous system, right? Right into my brain, my spinal cord, into being. So even if things hurt, even if things aren't perfect, even if there are big problems, somewhere we can find some gratitude. There's one more thing I want to say about this spine thing, and that is like cats, their spines are almost like springs. Like one of the reasons cats can go so fast and they can like launch themselves fast and far is because they kind of contract and ball up their spine and then boom, they lengthen and go. And while we are not quite cats, even though I like to pretend that I am on a regular basis, we do have a lot of capacity for that springiness in our spine and that movement. Sometimes I think we think of our spine in a way that it's a rigid thing that doesn't have any movement. And in reality, it's living tissue. Even the bone is alive. So anything that's living within our body has the capacity to heal, to change, to renegotiate itself within that, to recapitulate being within ourselves. So I'm going to probably do a lot of micro movement with my spine. I was also doing some breath practice this morning with breath holds and allowing uh, my face to free up. So I was like letting my face, the muscles of my face, to just like engage in micro movement and kind of like do whatever they want. And I feel like there's a big relationship in between that sort of allowing that freedom and life energy to move through your spine, and then also to allowing like the muscles of your space to free up. Because as soon as I start to free up the muscles of my face, I feel this desire and this, it's almost like not even a desire, it's almost like a reflective response or reflexive response in my spine of movement. So I want to play with that and playing with this idea of growing and shrinking, lengthening and shortening, widening and narrowing, bulging and hollowing with the breath, and allowing the spine to have this life energy, this moving life force, and also with our faces. So I actually kind of want to do some breath holds with this today. And it's not going to be like huff and puff, Wim Hof. It's going to be like, gentle breathing. And then every once in a while, just hold your breath. Either hold it on the inhale or hold it on the exhale. This you direct. So it doesn't need to be stressful, like, oh my God, I have to do it in these counts or anything. No, you just listen into your own body and go, maybe I'll hold here for 10 seconds or 5 seconds or a minute, whatever it is. And in that hold, allow your face and your spine to have its own dance. So it's not, I'm controlling it, I'm going to stop all my movement, I'm going to sit still. It's like, no, I'm going to let the river flow. And I'm going to listen into the desire for movement. So let's just play with that for a few minutes. I'll probably get down on the floor eventually, but just playing with this idea of feeling into the breath, feeling into the springy nature of our spine, right? Those cushy little marshmallow discs supporting every vertebrae. And then down the middle is our nervous system coming through from the bulb of our head down, and it's routing out. So we've got like our central nervous system down the middle. We're reaching out to our peripheral nervous system, coming in through the spine. Yeah, so just the deep gratitude of sensation. Deep gratitude for movement, whatever level of movement you've got. Deep gratitude for micro movement, for feeling into micro movement. So inviting your own body to tune into its own sense of flow. Taking a breath hold on the inhale or the exhale whenever it feels interesting. Maybe never, maybe a lot. And the invitation is to allow movement, not to control it, not to oversee it, just to notice it and allow it. Could be as tiny as just the movement of the breath. Allowing the muscles of the face to engage on a nervous system level in any kind of releasing, like any kind of expressing that hasn't come out of your face, all the things you've held in. Let those little micro expressions and macro expressions start to percolate, feeling into what that is. Also knowing that as you allow this movement to bubble up, you're not suddenly going to go into these massive spasms. You always do have the control to just stop. So you can always open your eyes, look around, and calm yourself back down if things get too excited. Yeah, as soon as I sort of close my eyes and go into that allowing, a lot of movement into the back space happens, and really feeling into the relationship between my cranium and my vertebrae, that axis and atlas. There's a lot of like, oh, movement into the back space. And it's almost like one of those swirly paintings, like what the movement feels like to me. It's like one of those drop the paint into the water and put some oil in it and see what happens. That type of feeling of movement. So if you've spent time doing yoga and you're familiar with the bandhas, think of them think of this play, this deep spinal play, as allowing bandhas to kind of ripple up and release. So that like there's the pelvic floor, there's the diaphragm, there's all of these possibilities for lifting and flowing upwards and downwards, and then letting it go. So it's almost like you're just engaging in this interior possibility of a little bit of tension and then releasing, a little bit of tension and releasing. But once you start to play with it a little bit, sometimes it's you can let it happen without being like, I'm doing this work, but you're just letting it happen. You're letting your body have this play. You're letting things engage and release on that deep inner level. I feel like when I do it with a breath hold and start to play with those bandhas, there's a whole lot of movement up and down my energy field, for lack of a better term. But also, it's actually the muscles, the fluids, the bones, the tissues in this interactive dance. And all the systems are routing together in many ways. Like, right, when we're coherent, these systems are working together. And when we're starting to let go of the holding patterns of, oh, this is me being Laura, and now I'm coming into, oh, I'm just a fluid creature. I'm just like an octopus or even a jellyfish, allowing that energy, or a cat with that flexy spine. I give myself much more capacity and possibility for being. I don't have to follow the human rules for being, or the prescribed rules, the cultural rules. I can let that break down. And if it feels like, oh, I'm not able to let go of that, then start to just play with the three dimensionality of the breath, feeling into the growing and shrinking on this big three-dimensional level, or the lengthening and shortening, widening, narrowing. And give yourself permission to unwind, to unravel. However you think you need to hold yourself together, let that go. Nothing to hold on to, right? So we're learning how to let go of our little grasps, our little tension patterns by just letting them free up. Sometimes allowing tension to bubble up just to let it melt and fall away again. Thinking of that spine like a river. And even in a river, like the river isn't just going in one direction. There are whirlpools, currents, and eddies that are really three-dimensional. The movement of water isn't just in a straight line. There's spirals, ebbs and flows, waves. Some stuff is coming back as other stuff goes forward. Inviting in that sense of multidimensionality in your movement. Bringing in micro movement to the spine. Maybe it's happening in the arms. My fingers have become very interested in moving. So I'm allowing that to happen. And again, just feeling when I sense into the sensation of gratitude for being here in a human body on this planet right now, it's like, oh, wow. Makes me want to cry and laugh at the same time. And the crying isn't sadness. Giving yourself the opportunity to really soften your face, your jaw, your tongue. When you let your face hang and your tongue be really loose, it's a great way to soften and release tension. To release the holding pattern of what it is to be you. Let that kind of soften and melt away. And understand it's just constructed, right? This is something, oh, I learned how to behave like this when somebody told me to do that, and that this was wrong, and then I started shifting into that, right? It's not something that is just how we are. It's how we've learned to be. So we can also be like, I can let go of some of that crusty stuff, some of that crunchy stuff, some of that judgment or shame. If I come into this fluid body, there's not a lot of space for that judgment or shame. It's like, oh, that's just an idea. And if I allow myself to have some freedom in my fluids, freedom in my cells, I don't need to hold on to it anymore. I can let that go. I can slough it off, shed the skin. Shiny, new, yummy skin. So I'm going to add music, and I'm also going to get down on the floor. And I'm going to express my gratitude for Jeff Gersh for this ambient fields. This is ambient fields number 2, song number 1. And I'm just going to turn it down a little. If it's too loud, let me know, people in my room. Allowing yourself to really move from the fluids or move from the breath, right? If you feel like there are hard parts of yourself, think of them as very alive. They're fluid filled, they're living, where we have that fire in our body, the warmth of our life energy. What if your whole nervous system was just flowing with gratitude, right all the way out to the tips of your fingers, to your skin, to your toes, to the tip of your nose? Just gratitude for being here in a body on the planet right now, part of this whole thing. And if you're feeling pain, maybe you can just breathe into it. Maybe add some sound like woo, just giving yourself a little, maybe cooing to your pain, like a mama to a baby. Comforting yourself. Letting sound and vibration and even the tiniest bit of movement just readjust what's going on an energetic level, on a cellular level. Maybe just having gratitude for your own imagination. Deeply listening to your own body and moving towards pleasure. If you feel pain in one area, see if there's another area where it feels good and let your awareness go back and forth. Can you bring some of that good feeling into the painful spot? Can you maybe share the pain with a different part of your body so it's not all in one area? Maybe just feeling gratitude for the fact that we can breathe the air. We have an atmosphere of air that we can breathe. We're in relationship with the plants. Hopefully, we have clean water to drink. Hopefully, we're warm enough. Even gratitude for the internet, right? And for Zoom, for YouTube, for these things, these channels that we have to connect. Gratitude for the gravity. We're not going to fall off the planet. We're here connected to the earth, and the gravity is helping our tissues form, helping our bones form, even helping the density of our blood be exactly right. Or if it's not exactly right for us, let's pretend it is. That's gratitude for the imagination. If things aren't exactly perfect, let's try to shift our mind into seeing them in a way that is perfect for us. We are sloughing our skin all the time. That's what human bodies do. They're renewing, they're regenerating. Although we do have cells in our body that we've had like almost our whole lives. So different parts of our body have cells that are living and dying quickly, and other ones that are just lasting forever. And our body knows how to do that. What a miracle. How? Ooh. Letting yourself sound into that, and using sound as another access into, I want to say, an entry into sensation, right? When we have sound, we can maybe start to feel the vibration of the sound in our body. Letting our vagus nerve go, oh yeah, I can come into harmony with my digestion, my breath, my reproductive organs. Sounds funny to say reproductive organs. My sexuality. Maybe just coming into harmony with my sensuality, my capacity for feeling. Giving yourself permission to let go of other people's ideas of who you are, who you should be, and even giving yourself permission to let go of your own idea of who you are and who you should be. Allowing your awareness to just give you internal space, spaciousness, letting yourself dance within that, the lightness of space. And your awareness could be very pinpointed and specific, or it could be very global, or it could be a combo. Global over here, pinpointed over there. shifting. Allowing the earth to hold you, allowing yourself to nestle into being here right now. Oh, what if I just got a little more comfortable right here, right now? I just wriggle myself in, just a little more comfortable right here, right now. Oh, yeah. Allowing yourself to really deeply accept whatever's arising in the moment. Allowing yourself not to fight. No need to fight or struggle with this moment right now. Nestling into the moment. Ooh, could I feel even better in this moment? Could I let myself feel better? Gonna fade out the music Just giving yourself a minute or two to be in the silence of your own experience, with stillness or maybe not, however it feels right for you. Sometimes when we've been moving a lot, letting yourself process in stillness is good. But sometimes if you're like a super duper mover person, it's really hard to stop. So if you're in a flow, just stick with it. So I'm going to stop the live stream. Have a quick look over here at the live stream. Yeah, I'm going to let it go and come back into the room. If you made it this far, bravo.